When you do invest in and start to believe in yourself through a personal uniform, those pieces are going to last forever for you. They are absolutely the number one best fashion investment you can make. Well, hi, everybody. It's Diane Gilman, formerly known as the Queen of Jeans on QVC HSN, but now the proud host of Fashion Thursdays with Diane. I've got something to talk about, and I'm going to need your input. I'm going to need you to share your thoughts. You have a personal uniform. I'm going to say that comes from the 90-10 theory, that 90% of the time you go to 10% of your wardrobe. There is also something called the sandwich fashion theory, which is the outer piece you wear and the bottoms you wear relatively stably stay the same. It's what you put in between, like a sandwich, that changes. Well, I'm going to tell you a story. It's a little bit of fashion history. About 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I was in Paris working, shopping, going to the shows. If you watched Emily in Paris, actually, my hotel was the other side of the courtyard for the office building that she went into. Little boutique hotel. So every time I traveled, I would be overpacking and what am I going to wear and what am I going to wear at the shows and what am I going to wear at the dinner afterwards and what am I going to wear on a meeting lunch alone and what am I going to wear when I'm shopping. I come out of the hotel and there's this really good looking young man standing in the courtyard, about to go into the building, looking at his watch, waiting for somebody, obviously. It was wintertime. He's wearing a gorgeous, what looks like cashmere turtleneck in a shade of mocha, kind of beige. He's wearing a perfectly tailored, pressed pair of jeans, I believe indigo. He's wearing great shoes, not running shoes, but formal shoes that you would wear with a suit. And keynote accessory, he's wearing a gorgeous wool scarf, doubled up and wrapped around his neck and thrown over one shoulder. And I thought, bingo, that is exactly how I want to look, and I'm going to borrow from the boys. 35 years later, that is still my very own personal uniform. What is a personal uniform? It is dressing for confidence, dressing for success, and not taking any time to do it. And boy, is that me. I was saying this morning, I just had a totally discombobulated morning. I hadn't prepared my outfit for this podcast the night before, and I was like, where's my earrings? And what scarf am I going to wear? And what's my color story? I hate that. I need to take the least amount of time to look the very best I can look. And if that sounds like you, then you need to discover your personal uniform. So here's one personal observation about building a personal uniform. Dress for your body type. Whether you are totally tailored like me and borrow from the boys, or you like to take a more feminine note and wear a skirt and a soft blouse, what are your bodily features? Okay, broad shoulder or narrow, big waist, oh, that's me, or small, long legs, long skinny legs, or shorter and heavier. Those are the considerations you need to put together a personal uniform that is going to bring out the best in you every time. Definitely, body shape is everything. And the other thing you'll notice is once you get that successful uniform proportion together, you'll know because you will start getting compliments non-stop. So part of how I developed a personal uniform was not only what looked best on me again and again, and for 3 decades now. But also the fact that I literally traveled for television about 300 days a year, sometimes more. And I went from climate to climate. I might be doing shows in London for QVC and then have to fly straight to St. Petersburg, Florida for HSN QVC shows. And I always wore the same thing: blazer, scarf, simple layering piece, and a pair of perfectly tailored jeans. It got even more important to me as I got older to have that personal uniform in place because I had picked tried and true classics that never let me down. If you and I do not like soft blazers, so we can just say no to that. I like a real tailored blazer that dictates the shape from your chin to probably 2 inches down on your thigh. And whether you gain 5 pounds or you lose 5 pounds, you still look the same shape. And then the layering pieces for me, because my hair is such a dominant part of my look, I like to keep the layering pieces really, really simple. I like to do cashmere in the wintertime and early spring. And I'll tell you what, best t-shirts, bar none, and best tank tops on earth are on Amazon. Just a blend of cotton and a lot of spandex, small ribbed detailing, beautifully tailored, and both of them below $19. So now that's where you can experiment a little with color, never pattern. So where does rotation come in? It comes in on the accessories. I always emphasize this, and I'm sorry if it gets boring, but it's just so true. When you have personal uniform, if you are a busy businesswoman like I was, or you are a busy housewife, but you're always going someplace where people you know are going to see you, whether it's a supermarket, or it's a baseball game with your kid in it, or it's a PTA meeting, or whatever it is. You want to look your best, and you don't want to be fussing with yourself all day long. So for me, what started to work the best were buying patterned scarves. Now, I happen to love Hermes and Gucci. They're classic. They've got horsebit. They've got polo, horse polo, kind of legendary feel to them. But quite frankly, I bought some of my best scarves, Marshalls and TJ Maxx, that were knockoffs. I don't really care about the price, but personal uniform is a formula for feeling really good about yourself every day. And I would tell you that I think that is the most important thing. Why do I feel good about myself? Because I don't even have to look in a mirror. I know this outfit is working. I've worn it for decades. I've changed the fabric. I've changed the colors. Maybe changed a little bit of the style of the blazer or the jean. But it remains a block of dressing competency for me. When you do invest in and start to believe in yourself through a personal uniform, those pieces are going to last forever for you. They are absolutely the number one best fashion investment you can make. Now, one thing did change. Yeah, I can't wear high heels anymore. I've got a bum knee with arthritis. Okay. That was heartbreaker for me because nothing looks better than a skinny jean and a knee-high boot, a high-heeled boot, ankle boot. But I had to. So I found I was lucky because I started to be wearing fashion sneakers, so in style. Yay. And then again, I love me a good loafer. You can get them in suede, you can get them in contrast colors. So I tend to keep my outer uniform, the blazer and the jean, in very neutral colors. Although today I just bought this pink cotton blazer. If you can get any of these pieces with spandex in them, and actually my blazer is stretchy. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. Do it. It'll help a lot when you transition them from one season to the next and layer them. But I ask you, do you think of your dressing in terms of a uniform. See, for me, and I think it's a combination of vanity, self-pride, and being a fashionista, and the fact that I live in New York City where there is absolutely no hour of the day or night when you're not going to bump into someone, when someone's not going to see you and comment on the way you look. Yeah, it's a judgmental world. It is. And what is the number one statement you put out there to the world every day about who you are, what your intentions are in life, where you're headed, who and what you want to be in the future? It's what you put on your body. For me, a blazer is sort of, I'm no nonsense. I got it buttoned up. I got it together. I'm self-contained. And by the way, I get a lot of compliments when I wear good blazers. And when I wear them with jeans, that Parisian uniform that I adopted so many decades ago, people still just love it. I think the average person who's not so average in Manhattan doesn't want to be overwhelmed or shocked or speechless by what you're wearing. They don't want to have to figure it out like it's some kind of puzzle. And quite frankly, neither should you. What your personal uniform is has so much to do with what the intentions are that you set for each day. Let's look at somebody who had a completely personal uniform. Steve Jobs. Always black turtleneck, always pair of lean pants. And what was his reasoning? I don't want to waste the time thinking about it. I know that I'm using my brain all day long. I don't want to be distracted. And in a way, with my uniforms, I feel the same way. If I go in and say to myself, okay, today is a day of multitasking, but I'm out and about in New York City wearing a great tailored blazer, a very simple t-shirt or turtleneck underneath, and a perfectly fitting pair of jeans and a good pair of loafers, I can't go wrong. The other thing I think too is when you choose your personal uniform, make it timeless so you don't have to keep redoing it. Update it with different t-shirts or turtlenecks, not much of an investment. Update it with maybe buy one really good scarf per season. That's a big thing I'm about to buy one. I'm so excited. Ladies, there's nobody who treasures good skin more than me. As someone who's been on television for 30 years, always in front of a camera, and now as a podcaster, and I have to say that one of my major tricks to staying young with smooth skin is Sleep and Glow pillow. And you're saying, really, Diane? A pillow? Yeah. The way this is configured, your skin never, if you, especially if you're a side sleeper like me, your skin never gets scrunched down and in. You never wake up with those overnight wrinkles, which eventually will go from temporary to permanent. It is comfortable. It sets your neck and your spine in the right configuration, but most of all, no more of those deep creases when you wake up and look in the mirror. It's like, whoa. So it is a game changer. And if your skin is aging, if you are in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, like me, and you really want to slow down, that the visual hands of time, you need a Sleep and Glow pillow. And I'll tell you what, you're going to love it once you start using it because great skin always starts when you sleep. So use my code below for a discount at sleepandglow.com and start sleeping smarter and start sleeping more beautiful. I am really not a collector of high-end jewelry. I love me a good piece, a cheerful piece, a sparkly piece, a bright piece of costume jewelry. That is an accessory. Doesn't take much room to pack it, but packs a big punch in changing the mood. I've never lived in a suburb. I've never been a mom. I have no idea about that life, but I have friends that do and are. I have a friend who's a mother of three, all boys, all sports, all busy. One day we had to dress up to go to an industry party, and we really dressed up. professional makeup artist and my hotel room, and we got fully made up, and I had hairdressers in the hotel room, and we got hair done. And my God, this girl was a knockout. I mean, beautiful, like a 1930s movie star with makeup and hair. And I said, why don't you at least do some of this every day? Like, you've got these incredible long eyelashes. Why don't you wear mascara? Why don't you wear a little eyeliner? Why don't you do your hair? It's not that long or that complicated. And she said, I'd look like a freak. None of the other housewives and mothers do their hair or wear makeup. Okay, so that's the life I've never led. But I'm not talking so differently about the life I lead and you lead, which is you are judged by your peers. You're judged by your observers. Why not look good? And why not get those compliments? And that just comes from how you dress. So, how many of you honestly see jeans, a perfect fitting pair of jeans, as part of your uniform? You know, I always hear baggy jeans, baggy jeans. That's what's happening right now. I can't wear them. I'm too petite. I'm 5'4". They flap in the wind. They're very ungainly to me, and I have a big waist, and you really need to tuck something in. But here's my trick for success. Pick your silhouette. Is your silhouette fitted blazer, simple layering piece, big bottom, like baggy jean? My silhouette is elongated blazer, 2 to 3 buttons rather than 1 button, easy layering piece, and skinny jean. And I say it again and again because I am shaped like a meatball on 2 toothpicks. Skinny legs, menopause middle, and I've got to dress to my body type. So there's my next question. Are you struggling to find any kind of real personal fashion statement, which honestly becomes your uniform? Because nobody in the fashion industry is making anything for you. I found something very, very interesting, which is we are, as 50 plus women, 52% of the female buying power of America. Yet nobody makes anything for us. Nobody even cares. The only time you see clothing on a figure on, let's say, the internet is you're going to see it on a 20-year-old. And you have to figure out and translate how that's going to work on your pre-post menopausal body. That probably is my biggest gripe, but that's also probably why I go for very simply tailored pieces. And you know, I was always a non-frill, non-dress, non-skirt kind of girl. I don't want to worry about my pale legs and putting self tanner on them, shaving them every day. I know, call me lazy, but I'm just being practical, who I am. I loved the total definition of that Parisian man's wardrobe. I even copied the way he put on his scarf, long oblong scarves, and how he doubled it up, looped it through, and threw one end of it off his shoulder. I'm all about things that work. I am very self-conscious about how I look as I age. I find it more and more difficult to find pieces or get dressed correctly. And certainly all these pieces that are like chiffon blouses and lots of ruffles, and they're all throwaway clothing. I don't want to be investing money in that and then look at it 6 months later and say, where was my head when I bought this? I want pieces I can wear shopping at Whole Foods and then turning around and going out for lunch at a high-end restaurant in Manhattan. I want pieces that everybody around me understands and appreciates on me. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm vain. I'm concerned about how I look, but I also want to dress with confidence and get some compliments. So, what are your favorite pieces in your wardrobe? What do you go back to again and again? And answer one question for me in your comments. And you can be truthful, It's just amongst us girls. We've got our own community going. Do you still put the same amount of care and maybe passion into how you dress now in possibly retirement or semi-retirement or working remotely for how you dressed going to an office every day? I know I had a lapse in that for sure. I was hit with breast cancer in 2017, 18, and into 19. And then at the same time, I wasn't even going to my TV studio anymore because COVID hit. So I was doing remote from home. And you can really get down that rabbit hole pretty far, where you're walking around in pajamas all day long and you're just changing the top because that's all people are going to see if you're on camera. I became really lazy. But then when COVID started to recede and life started to go back to at least semi-normal, I had to start dressing again, and I was a little bit out of practice. So your basic uniform could be a tailored dress. Your basic uniform could be a soft feminine blouse with a skirt and maybe a one-button blazer. But do think to yourself, what is going to serve me best? How are people going to perceive me when I have interactions with them? Because trust me, people are not blind and people are very judgmental. And you just have a step up and an advantage in this world if you're dressed in a way that they really respect. Like I can tell you truthfully, for me, and I see it all the time in people's eyes, I'm about to be 80 years old. Awesome! People do not expect me to care as much as I do, or take the time to look like I care. And now I'm really thinking about, I've rearranged my closets a number of times for efficiency. I'm the most inefficient human alive. So one closet is all blazers, one closet is all jeans, one or two cupboards are all layering pieces, turtlenecks, crew necks, and tank tops. This is my most difficult season of the year to dress, summer. I've got to find cotton blazers that are lightweight. I definitely want to cover my arms. I still want to look tailored, but not be overheated. This is my challenge season for sure. I'm thinking of redoing my closets again and actually putting together outfits, ideal outfits. So hanging the right jean, right colored jean, with the blazer I love, the t-shirt I know is going to work underneath, and maybe even hanging the beautiful printed scarf, and in a jewelry bag, the earrings or the necklace I'm going to want to accessorize with. And I think if I can invest that time, it's actually going to wind up saving me time. But that's the other thing. I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you think about it as uniform dressing? I know I do because I've gone back to it now. Same formula for 3 decades. And it's just a matter of going through my closet, finding the right blazer, hoping the jeans I want to wear are clean and not in the washing machine, and then putting it together with the shoes. I love also a dyed to match handbag. So I treated myself last year for my 79th birthday, and I bought Barbie pink Gucci loafers and a Barbie pink top handled handbag. Love the look. And that's the other beautiful thing about finding your own personal uniform or wardrobe builder is you can choose the same thing again and again, and just by rotating accessories, infusing it with color, taking it back to nothing but neutrals, you change the look completely. You know, you must, and I think many people do, think that I spend this massive amount of time thinking about what I'm going to wear and how I'm going to wear it. And I really, really want to use my time differently. I want to do more podcasts, giving women like us over the age of 50 information to live a better life. through menopause, through new innovation, through more self-confidence. I want to start writing my fourth book. We just got finished writing a screenplay of my life. I've got a life that is constructed of purpose. And although looking good does have its own purpose, and it definitely has its own advantages, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing it. If you guys out there, if there's any of you out there that absolutely love trying on 10 different outfits to pick what you're going to wear for the day, you love to take the time, even with makeup, I top myself out in about 10 minutes. And my hair, get it done once a week. And oh, yes, my hair today. Definitely. If there was a contest for biggest hair in America, today would be my day to win it and get a medal. But that's the other thing, along with the personal wardrobe that sets the tone of every day, my hair. So there's a thing called the hero advantage, and that is that you have as a maximum for what you're wearing and how you're dressing, one, possibly two aspects to your look that are hero. My hero piece will always be a beautifully tailored blazer. And my other hero aspect will always be my hair. Do you find if you've got a good hair day, you've just got a good day? Isn't that crazy? But I do. And my entire life, my hair has been big and long. This is like really short for me, but this is what it is with white hair. Then the other challenge I gave myself, and you may be going through that part of your life, is deciding whether you're going to go on coloring your hair or not, or you're going to go natural the way I did. I did it for mostly paranoid health purposes after breast cancer, but I made a game out of it. Oh, what was going to go with white hair now? What was going to be in my closet that was going to work with white hair, and what was absolutely not anymore? Red. I feel like I look like Santa Claus if I'm wearing like a red blazer with this white hair. All I need is a white beard. But let me say this. If you want those compliments that uplift your sense of self, if you are about to go back into the job market and start interviewing again, if you are going through a great divorce, if you are experiencing any phase from peri to over the hump, menopause, and not feeling like you totally know yourself anymore or recognize yourself in a mirror or need to feel more grounded, get you a personal uniform. You will love the ease of it, the self-confidence of it, the predictability of it, and honestly, the pivot of it, where spending, I mean, you spend a lot of money on a blazer, right? But you spend a lot less money on accessories. So you've got maybe the blazers you wore during your career, but now you're putting them with jeans for maybe your second career after retirement. But whatever you do, honestly, it's that old Billy Crystal saying, better to look good than to feel good. Only I'm going to switch that and say, when you look good, you feel good. I hope you agree with me, and I can't wait to hear your comments. Thanks so much, and may you always be too young to be old. Thank you so much for listening to Too Young to Be Old podcast. The episode may be over, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Diane Gilman, or visit our website, thedianegilman.com. If you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And until then, don't forget, age is just a number. Together, we'll prove that we are all too young to be old.